Here in the Imus Morning program, please welcome now to the program the Governor of New Jersey, Christie. Good morning, Governor Christie.
Good morning, Don. Thanks for having me.
You're quite welcome. Bruce going out on tour again?
He is.
So when you go to the, have you been to the Springsteen concert since you've been governor?
No.
Okay, so
he has on tour since I've been governor.
So will you go now this time?
Oh, you bet.
Okay, so do you have to take a big security detail with you?
Yeah, unfortunately, I do.
So, but when you were Attorney General and you were going all the time, did you have security with you?
No security then. No.
Just showed up? And
just showed up.
A couple of bongs in your shirt?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
stuck some booze in. It's great.
So
the beer's so expensive there. Why not stick a couple of bottles in, you know?
We were talking off the air. I watched that entire Whitney Houston homegoing service. I thought it was, not that you asked, but thought it was appropriate what you did lowering flags at half-mast. She was an important part of pop music, period. When she did some drugs and drank alcohol, and that disqualified people from going on and having a successful life, I wouldn't be here. So
that's absolutely right. And I tell you, Don, I saw some of the worst sides of our country in the aftermath of this. I had people sending me I got a lot of positive email too, but a lot of hateful email calling her names and all surrounding the drug use. And I said at my press conference was, to anybody who wants to make those accusations there, but for the grace of God, go I. I've seen it in my family. I've seen it in close friends, and it's a disease. And, it's people try to conquer it every day. Some people are successful, some people aren't, but it doesn't diminish what she accomplished in her life. She was a Jersey girl. She came back and lived in New Jersey. She donated to New Jersey charities and worked hard for church and other causes. She deserved to be honored, in my view. To me, it wasn't a close call.
Now, one of the great voices, and not patronizing her because she's dead, one of the great voices in the history of pop music, period.
Extraordinary. An extraordinary voice. And I'll tell you, that was the most chilling part for me of the funeral, which, as I was saying off the air with you, was really a joyful ceremony for most of it. But at the end, when they were getting ready to remove her casket from the church, it was the only time in the whole ceremony the church was completely silent. And then without warning, they put through all the speakers the beginning of "I Will Always Love You," that a cappella part of it.
Sure.
And it was physically jarring, because you felt like she was there. And that was the first time I saw her mother during the ceremony completely break down and just started screaming, "My baby, my baby." You're a parent. There's nothing that you could think of that could be worse than losing a child.
Tough to watch.
Yep, it was.
So Bernie said you want me to ask you, before we ask you about a couple of other things. Well, let's start. I'll ask you about your budget.
Okay.
But first of all, what are you you're at odds with the mayor of New York about the police, New York City police, doing what in Newark?
Well, I don't know exactly what they were up to,
right.
And so we're trying to find that out. My attorney general is working with folks in New York City and others to find out, and the federal authorities to find out what was going on. So I don't really have an opinion on it yet, Don, because I don't know enough about it to have an opinion. But certainly, if the NYPD was over in New Jersey, I hope they were doing it in a way that was coordinated with New Jersey law enforcement and federal law enforcement, so that we don't have people tripping over each other. That's dangerous for law enforcement, and it's counterproductive to getting the job done. But I don't know if that's what happened. We'll have to see what the facts show.
Like, for example, here at Fox, they won't let you bring a gun into the building because they have a marvelous security force here at Fox. I mean, all ex-cops, great. And they don't, if something goes wrong, they don't want somebody else with a gun in here shooting guys with a gun.
You in particular, I think. I think this rule was made for you, Don. I mean, let's be fair, because Bernie'd be dead at this point, I think. I doubt Bernie would be gone.
So, but this goes back to a number of years. And does it go back to when you were Attorney General? Or?
It goes back to when I was U.S. Attorney in 2007,
okay.
apparently. Yeah, and I got asked about this at a press conference the other day. I don't remember ever being briefed on this. Now, I could have forgotten. Is it possible? I guess it's possible I wasn't. I forgot.
Yeah.
But I kind of think I would have remembered that.
Okay. Now, Bernie wanted me to ask you, and I want to ask you about your 2013 budget. Tell me about it.
Okay. Well, the good news about the budget is that we're offering a 10% cut across the board for all New Jerseyans after we've had some very tough years. But in addition, we've cut so much wasteful spending, Don, that we're going to increase spending over $200 million to K-12 education, over $100 million to our colleges and universities. So we're investing in our kids' education. And for the public sector workers who, I've certainly had my battles with, we're making a $1.1 billion payment to their pension, the largest pension payment in a single year any governor's made. So tax cuts for our taxpayers, more money for our education, money for our pensioners, and we're still spending less money than John Corzine, your good friend, spent in 2008.
My good friend?
Yeah.
What's the matter with you?
I think he's your good friend, wasn't he?
No, he's not my good friend.
No?
No, I didn't even know you. That was the main reason I supported you, because you were running against him.
I thought it was because of my fabulous physique.
That too. So, 20 minutes early, our time with Governor Christie. So, this gay marriage thing that you vetoed, the state legislature passed that, right?
Yes, they did.
Okay, so I was talking to Dagan just when I said, I'm thinking about asking the governor this question, do you think it's stupid? And it may be stupid, the question. But it's the state legislature. I realize that these individuals all don't get elected to serve based on how they feel about any one particular issue. Mm-hmm. But they do, in effect, represent the people of New Jersey.
Sure.
So if they vote to pass gay marriage, what do you care?
Well, does that mean I should sign everything they send me?
Well, I don't know. But
I don't think so.
Let's take it on a case-by-case basis.
Well,
what do you care whether gay people get married?
Listen, Don, I believe marriage should be between a man and a woman only. I agree with civil unions, and I offered in the veto that I signed to strengthen civil unions. But you talk about people being represented. I campaigned saying this in 2009. I got asked about it. I said it repeatedly. So everyone knew who they were voting for, and they voted for me on this issue. And I was being true to the promise that I made in 2009 about what I would do. So, and I'm the only one of you talked about that is elected by all the people. And so, I think it's a very tough issue. That's why I offered to put it on the ballot and let people vote on it. And if people voted to legalize same-sex marriage, I'd be governed by it.
Okay. So because I respect, for example, the opinion of people who oppose gay marriage, even though I support it. I support it because I know people who are gay and have good friends of mine who are gay, and they love each other, and it doesn't affect me. And so do you think people who don't agree with you have a legitimate point of view?
Absolutely, and that's why I said I would be happy to have it put on the ballot, because if a majority of people in New Jersey really do want same-sex marriage, then let them vote for it and they can have it. But I'm not convinced that is the will of the people. If it turns out to be, I'm willing to be governed by that, and that's why I offered to have it put on the ballot. But for some reason, the Democrats don't want to put it on the ballot.
It's 18 till the hour here in the Imus Morning program. We're talking with Governor Christie, who supports Governor Romney, right?
I do.
Why did he do so badly with her for a while?
Well, listen, I think there's two reasons. One, whoever is in front at the moment is the one who takes all the incoming fire, and that's difficult on a candidate. Secondly, I think Governor Romney is one of the more reserved people I've ever met, and I think it's tough to be running for president and be reserved and not be willing to attack, be willing to brag on yourself a bit and talk about those things. And I think he's very reserved. So at times, I don't think he lets people see how passionate he is about wanting to be president and the things he wants to accomplish. And so, I think that's his challenge. His challenge is to get out there and connect with people. I think he did better last night. I think he's going to do well in Michigan, Arizona on Tuesday.
Would you agree that the various idiotic things he said didn't help him?
Well, sure. I mean, we all stumble at times, right, Don? We all say things that we wish we could take back. We all do things, but we know that it doesn't disqualify us from being great Americans, right?
I can develop a real hatred for you.
Hey, come on,
it can't hurt you now, though.
The line between love and hatred is so thin, Don. It really is.
But he doesn't seem to me to be, and he doesn't seem to. I like him, but he doesn't seem to me to be, as people think you are, either rightly or wrongly genuine.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm talking about in terms of, I think it's because he's so reserved. It's not that he's not genuine, but he's not letting everybody see every aspect of him. He's more reserved than I am. I'm out there, and what you see is what you get. He's more reserved about it, and I think his challenge as a candidate is going to be to allow people to see who he really is. If they do, I think they're going to elect him. But that's his challenge. He's got to decide whether he wants to do that or not.
But his method of being reserved is being willing to say whatever's expedient at the time.
Oh, no.
Oh, come on.
That's not true. Listen, he's in Michigan right now saying that he wasn't for the auto bailout. That's not expedient in a state like Michigan.
He had a pretty good explanation about that.
Well, he's a smart guy.
Yeah, so.
Wouldn't we love to have a smart, experienced guy as president?
I agree.
And somebody who actually knows how to run something. And the guy we have right now, with all due respect to the president, he's never run anything. And Mitt Romney's been a governor. He's been a CEO. He's going to get in there and put smart people around him and run the government. We need someone to take charge.
Except the what were the unemployment numbers that just came out? Do you know?
About 351,000 people applying for unemployment benefits for the first time. It's getting better. Overall, the trend is getting better.
So the economy's getting better.
Good. It's good for our country.
Okay, but like Hannity, he wouldn't even come to work. whenever they're good figures, he's at home. He has to be medicated. He's a friend of mine. So
come on now.
He's a good friend of mine, by the way.
I know. I love Sean too. No, listen, it's good news for America. That's good. Here's the
then
issue.
What's Romney going to run against?
Well, Romney's going to say it should be much, much better than it is. And the president wasted 3 years, essentially, when he could have been putting America back on its feet, handing over the stimulus plan to Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid. I mean, please. You know, I wouldn't have let them arrange a 2-car funeral. I mean,
do you know that people vote for people they like? Half the people in this country, you probably know this better than I do, half the people who vote, either in this country or New Jersey, which is in this country,
yes,
vote because they would like to go, like you, it would be a lot more fun to go hang out with you at a concert or have dinner with you at Rayo's or wherever than it would Mitt Romney. I can just tell you that now. It'd be a lot more fun to hang out with the president. Did you see him the other night singing with B.B. King?
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard to beat. I mean, it doesn't make him a great president. I understand that.
Sure, but that's part of his charm. There's no
Yes.
question. And listen, it has to be because he didn't say anything 3 years ago to get elected of substance.
No.
Right?
Well, he made
But
some
people
promises.
kind of liked him. Well, hope and change.
Yes. So.
Change and hope, hope and change.
So was the potential to get to a brokered convention by the time we get to Tampa is what 50%?
Oh, no, much smaller than that.
What
I'd say it's about 10%.
So are people still asking you about your deal? Or?
Yes.
Well, they are.
Yeah, they are.
And when you still tell them the same thing?
Yes, I say no.
Okay, so we get to a brokered convention. You're going to be there, are you?
Yeah, I'm showing up.
Why would you be there?
Well, because I'm the governor of New Jersey and I'm a Republican.
Okay.
And so I get to go. I get a ticket.
Would you head the delegation from New Jersey?
Yes, I would.
Okay. So let's just say they get all tied up in knots and they get to a third or fourth ballot and they can't come up with anybody, and they come to you and say, hey, what do you think?
I'll say to them, I got 2 words. Don Imus. It's time. It is time.
So you just want-
It is time to have a cranky entertainer.
So you're
as
going to
president
say
of the United States.
You're still going to say no at that point?
Yeah, I'm going to say no because I love being governor of New Jersey. And listen, for instance, like today,
I can't believe it. Well, I'm not going to say I don't believe it, but if you say it, why?
yeah, I mean, listen, like
You'll say no at that point.
I say no.
What would you recommend then?
Mitt Romney.
Well, what if they passed on him? What if they can't agree?
Well, then I got some thinking to do.
Yeah.
I don't have an idea at the moment, but if it gets to that point, you know me, I'm not a wallflower. I'll take a position.
Okay.
I'll take a position, but I don't have one now.
Maybe the position's in the
Other
mayor.
than you. I mean,
well,
you seem to be denying that. And, you know, I mean, you don't tell me you wouldn't love that.
Wouldn't love what?
Like being president for, you know, maybe not for 4 years, but for some period of time.
No, I don't.
Come on, Tom, you would love that.
I have no interest.
Sitting in the Oval Office.
I have no interest. I've been in the Oval Office. I have no interest.
Yeah, no, sitting behind the desk, though, Don.
I have no interest.
Calling those people in,
But
looking
you
at
should
them.
develop an interest. So.
Well, I'm good. Listen, I love the job I have now, and if there's another one in the future, listen, I'm going to need work.
That's a better answer.
I got 4 kids between 8 and 18. In fact, Don, I have to do something gratuitous today, and you have children, so you know this. My oldest daughter, Sarah, sweet 16 today. So I want to say happy birthday to her. If she's
Happy
listening
birthday,
out there.
Sarah.
So she's 16. Pray
Wyatt,
for me. Pray for me, Don.
Wyatt
16. The guys are coming around now.
Wyatt wants to text her if you could leave me her number. Governor Chris Christie here in the Imus Morning Program. Thanks, Governor. Nice to see you.
Don, thanks for having me.
Well, 11 minutes till the hour.